Yo, what it do, St. Louis? Listen,
Well,
listen. Guess who's here?
it's the evening
Prime
time.
time.
It's the
What do
evening
you
time.
say? What do you
What?
say? This is a
Man.
very, very special prime time edition of the St. Louis Hustle Podcast with your boy Quartet
Yeah.
Hustle and my girl Michelle. Hey,
Hey,
and
that's
we're
me,
gonna
y'all.
get in a conversation about relationships, man. Uh,
Yes.
we were talking not long ago, Michelle, about how
Yeah.
there are sometimes people meet in unusual ways, and then we've got all
Yeah.
these taboo things that say you ain't supposed to be
Mm.
together if this happened,
You
if that
can't do that.
happened, and all of that
Better
stuff
not.
in the hood. And we've got some stuff that we're gonna talk about tonight. I'm even gonna share a little bit of my story with me and my sugar. And we had somewhat of an unusual beginning, but here we
Mm-hmm.
are, 24 years later,
24.
it's still going
They
down.
still together.
That's right.
Mm.
That's right. That's right. And
That's what's
and we
up.
listen, we still together and we both still alive. How about that?
That's the important part. That's the important part.
No one has
Exactly.
killed anyone. I guess we don't do our fake intro on this show. This is special. Guys, do us a huge favor.
Yeah.
If you are in one of those situations where you met your boo, your bae, your current thing in an
Mm-hmm.
unusual way, and y'all got together and y'all made that thing work anyway,
Yep.
despite what people said
Yep.
and didn't say. Let us know in the comments, but also comment where you're tuning in from.
Yep.
And let us know which platform you're on. If you're checking us out on YouTube, Facebook,
Yep.
Periscope, wherever, we want to
How many
hear
platforms
from
is it?
y'all. Listen, I be trying to make sure we are
We
everywhere.
are everywhere.
I am my father's child. I'm trying to be omnipresent, right?
Okay.
All
Hey,
places. Yeah, see?
glory.
There you go.
Glory. If you're
There you
tuning in
go.
from the moon, let us know how you're
That's
doing
it.
on the moon.
Let us know what's
Send us
going
some free
on out
cheese.
there.
Is it
There
cheese
you
on
go.
the moon? I
I
don't know.
believe the moon is made of cheese. So real quick, Michelle, what's going on with you in the evening? How was
In the
work
evening
today?
time, I'm so used to giving all of the corona updates and everything in the evening. I mean, in the morning. So in the evening, let's see. Well, it's evening, and
Mhm.
what? I'm gonna just say this only because somebody who shall remain nameless was joning. I stopped by Quick Trip and to partake in a Quick Trip hot dog. Right? They used to be good, but since the outbreak, the corona and everything, they prepackaged the hot dogs and they
Mm.
ram them in the little thing where all the other hot food is. Right? And I'm gonna show you
Ah.
this. Now I ain't gonna try to gross you out, but I'm gonna show you this. Why did I get my hot dog and it was already squished up like this?
Oh
Now, if you get a hot
man.
dog, I prefer to do my own squishing, but they squished the
You
hot
know
dog.
what
I was like,
that reminds me of? Have you ever seen a hot dog eating competition where they just grab and squeeze the hot dogs and they just go it looks like that is a hot dog from a hot dog eating competition. That might
probably
not be
leftover.
fresh, Michelle. That's a leftover
It
hot dog eating competition hot dog that they done
yeah.
sold you at the QT. Uh,
They did. Notice how I didn't show you the end I bit off of because that didn't stop me. It didn't stop me. I mean, I prayed. I was like, Lord, let the squished up hot dog be okay as I
yeah,
ate it. So
yeah.
you just have to pray for the saints. That's what I'm gonna say in the evening. Pray for the saints,
Pray
please.
for the saints. Let's see what my girl Double
Please.
A talking about. Listen, Double A said relationships. What is not my favorite topic, but I'll
Oh,
stay for the comments.
oh,
Well,
okay.
my girl Double A has an awesome and amazing
Yes.
group called Single Moms and Money. If you're a
Mm-hmm.
single mom and you're trying to get your money right, you might want to holler at my girl Double A. I think it's
Okay.
singlemomsandmoney.net. You can join that group there.
Okay.
Evening, Erica Martin is in the building. So, guys,
What?
I
People
want to make
just tuning
sure that
in.
our guestesses have all the time that they need. Erica, where are you from again? Let us know where you're tuning in from as well. Looks like you're on the Facebook platform. So what I'm going to do,
Yep.
Michelle,
What
is
you gonna
I'm
do?
going to turn it over to you while
You
I
gonna
get
turn over to me?
a swig of water so that you can
Oh.
introduce our first guest. I know you know these folks well, and they've got an unusual way that they hooked up and built their family, and now they're in that thing. ID. So we're going to talk to them about some of the do's and the don'ts and the how they made it all work together. And once we bring them on, then I'm going to introduce our secret special guest. How about that?
Secret. Shh. You done did the intro. You did. Michelle, why don't you bring them on and tell them all about the people that you got? They coming. Just say their name. Just say their names.
No, you got to tell a little bit about your friendship with the people and all that stuff. Now,
I do that. Okay. Well, look at he's such a great narrator. Well, you know what? So our show, we're going to talk about relationships and such. I love talking about relationships. And so our first two guests that are coming up, I have known. One of them, I've kind of known them collectively, but I've known Miss Brown. You get right, y'all get ready to meet the Browns. I love saying that.
Meet the Browns, it's going down.
Meet the Browns, it's going down, right? It would mess y'all up if Brown slid across on the thing and mess you up. Very, very dear friend of mine, and her wonderful husband. Have not known him, of course, as long, but when you know someone and you're in friendship or relationship with them for a long time, you want to see them happy. So when they get that blessing in their mate and they are happy, you first of all, you welcome them in, but it elates you, right? And so they've been married, I want to say 14 or so years, and they working that thing right on out. You know what I'm saying? Which their whole story is a testimony. I just love to hear them tell it. And so you guys, welcome to the STL Hustle podcast show. Coming to the stage, meet the Browns, y'all. Olisa and Demetrius. I wish we had like automatic hand
Browns. Hey. Demetrius, my man, it's going down. I'm glad Michelle said your name yet again, because I was going to the other place. So Demetrius, brother, welcome to the show, guys. So we'll let you guys kick it off. Tell us a little bit about the Browns, man, and if you got any dirt on Michelle, we'll accept that too.
Oh no, because this one was there when she was there when I gave birth, and we don't want to talk about that, do we? We don't want to talk about that.
Actually, I knew Michelle before she had her girls.
Yes, she did. So, she knew me pre-kids.
I've known her very long, and I was just telling her how excited I was to see her in broadcasting, because that's her first love.
It is after Jesus, but yes, it's a treat. So just give us some general information about the Browns. You know, kids. How long you guys been married? I think I got it right, but I could have been wrong. I might have gave y'all some years and took away some. Forgive me. But tell us some general information about the Browns.
Yeah, so you are correct. We've been married for 14 years.
Oh, yay. I should get a prize.
Yay. 14 happy years.
Yay.
We have 3 children. I have a daughter that he accepts and loves so much. Awesome. We married when she was about, I think she was 13 years old. She's 27 now.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah, so we have a 13-year-old son.
Okay.
13 and 11.
Awesome.
So that's together.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't think I was going to have, I did know, I really believe God that I was going to have a son. God actually told me I was going to have a son.
Okay. Awesome.
So, but, we married. He doesn't have any children, so we came together, and God blessed us with 2 beautiful children.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey.
Okay. So Demetrius, you are really my man now, because like me, I married my sugar. She had 2 kids, and ain't no way on God's green earth I was gonna let that joker outdo me. So I gave her 3 more. That's how I get down. So my man,
I'm so I can't with him. In the evening, in the morning he filtered. In the evening. Oh Lord.
So, yeah, we got 5 children, man. So yeah. Is Now, before I bring my next guest on, let me just ask you this, because we had this conversation, I think 2 or 3 episodes back, and we were talking about the whole blended family deal.
Mm-hmm.
And, when kids are involved, some of us, like myself, my sons were 2 and 4 when I came into their lives. And that was relatively easy from what I hear. By comparison, being introduced to a teenager, I believe the young lady was 13 when was there anything that mom had to do to make this right, and then you had to do, I'm sure, to win the affection? How was that whole thing jumping in like that?
That was very, very, very difficult. And although they, our daughter welcomed us into her life, I think, accepted me. I think I was like the guy my mama married, and so the hope to, or the chance to get that father, I think, because her heart was still for her father, it was like, I'll tolerate you because my mama married you, but. And some of the actions that took place as it was a little weird. I would just tolerate you, and so the respect level there, although she didn't outright disrespect me, the respect level was not there, and it was really, really challenging for me because I want to do all this to welcome, show, hey, I'm with you, I'm for you. I could be that. I don't want to replace anyone. I just want to be a second help. I think having 2 dads is great. You have more support and all the other stuff, but I think it was just not received the same way. Now, over time, of course, I had to build that trust, and I had to, humble myself. I have to, show that, hey, I'm for you. I even cried in front of her a couple of times, like, hey, I don't mind being vulnerable in front of you. But it was in the beginning, it was very difficult, difficult for me.
Gotcha, but worth it now. And I love that. Mine were young. My older son had a relationship with his dad. My younger, the younger of the two, was like, I don't know that dude either. I don't know you. I guess I'll give you a shot. So he gave me a shot. But let me do this, man, because I want to bring our love engineer into the mix. Some of you guys are familiar with Alex. I know Angela is very familiar with Alex because we actually did a panel event with Double A. And it was a wonderful treat to get to meet Alex and have her sit on that panel with us. But she is the love engineer for a reason. So let me bring to you all Miss Alex Merritt, or is it Merritt? Let me make sure I get that right, because I'm going to commit to the name when I get it right.
Merritt it is.
Merritt. So, Alex, tell us who you are and what the heck is a love engineer?
That's Merritt. So, Alex Merritt. I am on one mission, and that's to help powerhouse women and the men who love us break down communication barriers and equip us with tools to build amazing relationships. I ended up as a love engineer because I'm a mechanical engineer by degree. So that's my background. Okay. And so to all the same engineering principles. So I ain't make this up. I tell you, it's like, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. But taking the same engineering skills and, and what engineers do is we solve problems, right? And so when it comes to relationships, there's a whole problem. So I take the same approach that I learned in mechanical engineering and apply it to get into the how and the why of relationships and how and why they work.
Gotcha. Ladies and gentlemen, before I turn this thing over to Michelle, if you got questions on relationships whatsoever, blended families, and I want to get Mr. and Mrs. Brown's story, because theirs is unique in the time that it took for them to meet and fully commit, meaning marry in like seconds, right? And they've made it work well in comparison to how long some people. I mean, it could have been the other way, Olisa. It could have been, well, I had a ring on it for 13 years, and he finally married me. Well, it was the other way. You guys got married relatively quickly. How did you guys know that was it? That he was the one, she was the one?
Well, I had a lot of confirmation. I don't know if who the audience is, if they would understand what I mean by confirmation. I had a lot of different people coming to me telling me, I really sense that it's your season to be married. And and just being in prayer, I kind of felt that way too. But I wasn't dating anyone or anything at that time. I just was, living my life and just a single mom. And actually, a friend of mine had just got married, and I had went to her house I was invited to her house to, sit and, talk with her husband, and she wanted to introduce me to her husband. And, we were all laughing and talking and all those good things. And to be honest, I was just divorced not too long prior to. And so my thought was, I really am not in the mood to rejoice with you right now. I'm thinking to myself, but the Lord was just like, you rejoice with those who are rejoicing. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll come over, sure. And we were all just laughing and talking and all those good things. And then her husband said, I really wish you could meet my friend. And so I was like, oh, okay, and so that's how we met. And it just, when I initially talked to him, after the first couple of times, I fell in love with his spirit.
Aww.
And people still ask me, how did I know? And I stick to that. And I'm still in love with his spirit. I love his spirit. And so, and then we began to understand a lot of the commonalities we had. Our parents worked together. We went to the same high school. His mother knows my parents. So it was just so, my friend was married to his best friend. It was so many commonalities on top of the fact that I was so in love with his spirit. And so that's kind of how, and then, we knew to go get counseling, and went to have counseling with my pastor. And might not be the most wise thing to tell a couple, but back then, and the spouse, what are you waiting on?
Oh.
So I think that was the push to say, okay, let's get married, because we knew that we were meant to be. And then when you have counsel like that, and so we jumped on in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I guess
that's my wife is like,
Go ahead.
No, my wife was right. We met, and my friend called me and he told me about Lisa, and I told him pretty much, I don't need you hooking me up with nobody. I said, I'm fine. I have, options and things like that. I'm light skinned, man. I don't need no help. No, I'm just joking.
I cannot. Did he just go Elder Barge over there?
Wait a minute.
Light skin was getting off a layaway back then. They was getting off a layaway.
Listen, I was finna say, let me go back 14 years, 2020, 2010. You talking about 96 light skin? I don't know. I think Wesley Snipes and Marshall Chestnut was on your heels. So you might have needed some help. You just didn't realize it.
God knew you needed some help.
Hilarious.
But she's right. She's right. When we met, the first couple of conversations, I just knew it was her. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been praying for a wife for a long time. I had a lot of options out there, and went on. But they just didn't set right. And when I talked with her, it was just that connection. That I guess that zing that just fit. I'm like, God. I said, I don't want my loins to talk for me. I want my spirit to talk for me, because I don't want to get into a mess. I don't want to get into a mess, because when I get in it, I'm going to get in it, and I'm going to work hard to maintain it. And so when I seen her, and I seen her spirit and her drive and compassion for God, I'm like, you know what? I don't need no other confirmation. Let's roll. Let's do it.
And how long from initial meet to marriage to wedding day?
You all ready for this? Beat your drums. 3 months.
3.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't get to the drums. You are 3 months.
3 months.
3 months. Well, let me be. I keep saying I'm gonna throw it to Michelle, but I'm like,
right. It took up. You asked 80%. You asked 80% of the questions. Keep going. You're on the roll, Mr. Sore Throat.
Let me ask our love engineer, because when I asked you to be on the show, you said, it doesn't matter about time. There are certain components that if they're there, it doesn't matter how long it's been. But where we come from, ain't supposed to be no 3-month marriages, right? So talk about some of the elements that must be present that will make a relationship long and strong. And clearly they had them, because 14 years they're still in. But what are some of those components that must be there? Did you hear anything from their story that you can pick up on that says, yep, it makes sense that even in 3 months you guys are still going strong?
Yeah, I think that's the big piece. So as I was listening, so I was like, when she said 3 months, I was like, oh, okay, that's about right. I mean, there are people who've done it in 2 weeks, right?
Wow, nice.
Depending on what the deal is. But as they both alluded to, again, we all know, we have a knowing, right? The time basically is us trying to talk ourselves into or out of something. Like, we know, and many people end up in relationships for a long time that they should have ended 2 weeks in,
right?
20 years talking themselves into it. But as they were both saying, they were both, being led not by what they saw, it was just what their prayers were, right? And I think that's the big part, is that when you have a relationship with God, whatever God is, you know what you asked for.
Right.
And so then, as she was talking about confirmation, and he was saying things about the couple, again, it should align with, what you asked for in private. In public, it should match.
Gotcha.
And so you already know it, so you know it when you see it. So that's what it sounds like as I heard them. I was like, oh, they were just meeting each other, but they knew spirit-wise, because you knew what you were asking for in the spirit realm.
Gotcha. That's dope. I never thought about that. All right, I'm gonna kick it to you for real this time, Michelle.
Right. I'm gonna ask the same questions you asked. I'm gonna call my answers. I do want to say how first, those people that gave you confirmation, at least you said, people kept giving you confirmation. Where do them people hang out at? Because I need to go roll with them. If they throw it out, I'm just saying, if they throw it out confirmation by husbands, where's the line at for that? I just need to get in that line. That's the first thing.
The confirmation right.
I need to get where they at. What friend? They'd be like, Lisa, get your friend. She's outside our window. Said something about confirmation. As I'm going to jail. Going to jail, maybe that's what my husband does. Okay, so 3 months in, and I know you guys, because you guys both spoke very candidly. We're gonna get to the real. Was there ever any reservation? You're near, the day, or maybe right after. Was there ever a reservation? Like, man, what are we gonna do? You knew you had to go through what you knew, because how sometimes God will give us those desires of our heart, and sometimes fear try to creep in, and we know that we have to push fear out, and keep moving forward in what God has called us to do. Was there ever any moments that you guys had where you had to really push through, to continue with the manifestation of what God told you?
Yeah, there was a little reservation, because I knew the time was kind of quick in my, I'm like, ooh, this is happening really fast, But I knew that, I've always been kind of, courageous in a sense, and not in an ignorant way, but just God has always had me like faith bound. But I also have learned through the years to use wisdom. So, my husband may disagree with me on this. We tend to disagree on this. But I say that wisdom, if I would have been kind of a lot more wiser back then, he was always going to be the one, but I might have waited a little longer, because I had a daughter, and I, would have had loved to give her time, even though she was very accepting in the beginning. But when you're not being led by wisdom, you miss certain little things that you may not see. So, because this marriage was ordained and is ordained, God was able to come in and do what he does great. They have a great relationship now. But I'm just saying wisdom, using wisdom might have said, let's make sure we do some more counseling, or let's, make sure we build a little bit, not saying I would have waited 2 more years or anything like that, but I'm just saying that you want to have balance on you having wisdom and also not know something is for you, but you also want to apply wisdom too. So
yeah, definitely. Let's talk a little bit,
if that makes sense to you.
No, it totally does.
I think any reservations I may have had were okay. Got it. Yeah, I was gonna say any reservations that I may have had, I think that they were very, very minor, because, and I'm a little weird like this. It doesn't take a lot to convince me that something is right or something is for me. I don't need, to put the golden fleece down and test God this way or that way. Hey, you can only tell me one time and I'm good. Hey, it's all right. Okay, it's all right. Okay, let's go. So any reservations I had were minor, like, okay, how are we going to handle each other? How are we going to, what are we going to do as far as raising our children? Those little things, just the future more so versus the present that we were about to walk into the marriage. Just the future I was concerned about. But those things God took care of, and it was all well. I was ready. Not like horny ready. I was just ready to get the relationship going. Like, let's go. I'm high. I went hound dog. I was ready for the relationship, because I wanted to see how this thing was going to turn out. I wanted to see how this thing was going to be. So I was anxious to kind of more so put God on a scene, like, okay, make this thing work, do this thing, show yourself, because I don't know what, so yeah, I was anxious, I was ready.
Gotcha.
All right.
Gotcha.
So Alex, can you talk a little bit from the perspective of, just because it seems like that seems like a man thing, right? Men are like, you know what, I got it, let's go, let's move. Where women, because I can understand that, how you have just a little bit of that reservation. Lisa, can you talk, Alex, about just that paradigm between men and women, and what makes them, how they get to be so sure? Sometimes they just get it here, sometimes quicker than we do, and we be like, I'm gonna just wait, I'm gonna just be right here, just one more second, please. Talk a little bit about that paradigm between the shift between men and women.
That's a good question, Michelle. But I think a part of it comes down to the way we socialize the genders, right? Like men are taught to be sure. Men are taught to know. Men are taught, from early on, right? Men are taught to, you brave, you bold, or ain't he like 5 and he's like the man of the house? And it's like, how? Right? Whereas little girls are taught almost the exact opposite, right? Where she's almost taught to second guess. She's taught to get input. She's taught to rely on somebody else, because somebody else is supposed to protect her and take care of her and da-da-da. And so literally we teach girls early on to not trust her own voice, but we tend to be sure of theirs early on. And that plays out throughout everything. It's the same where there's women and men in boardrooms. There's how men speak up and women won't. Right? Because we also teach women to be quiet. We teach women to be picked. We teach that she's supposed to be chosen. He that finds a wife, right, has set up many women to believe that her whole mission is to just sit somewhere and hope to God.
Yeah.
Some man validates her existence.
That's heavy. That is.
So he's been taught that he's supposed to go find, right? He's supposed to, and her thing is to hope and somehow pray that that she gets a man from God that assures her that it's the one, right? I think that's a big difference between, and I see it with clients of mine, but that's a part where we teach women not to trust their voice, and more importantly, to trust the voice of God within them that says, no, you absolutely know.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say something real quick, and then we'll if anybody wants to comment and jump in. I agree with what you're saying in that respect. I think that to a degree that people, like from the scripture, he defines a wife. He defines a wife, finds a good thing, et cetera, et cetera. I think that in that waiting, I think that's where sometimes people miss it. I know I missed it for years, and I'm trying to catch it. Where did it? Here? Okay, I'm trying to catch it. And in that waiting, that's when we are supposed to, commune with God as women. That's where we are supposed to find that voice that you're talking about. I think that's the intention of that and of that biblical reference is that's where we build ourselves up. So it's not necessarily, I think the worldview on that scripture is, we painted that picture because that's what I did for years. And as I come into a knowing, it goes from waiting to preparing. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily waiting to be picked. Oh, I'm getting ready. So when it happens, like how he came, she came, bam, they happen. So when my bam happened, bam, I'm gonna be shoulder shaking ready. I'm gonna be ready. So it won't necessarily be that. So I want to have that mental stance, similar to you, Lisa, where you were like, I don't know if I feel like being bothered. That'll probably be the time where God be like, it's time, and I'll be like, oh man, now, dang.
And that's time, right? When you're not seeking, because God can do God's work. When we're not resisting or afraid or whatever, I could take it or leave it. Then God's like, oh, okay, well, then here. But normally, when in that waiting phase, it's not waiting; it's usually wondering.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's wondering and it's whining and it's all kind of things we call it.
Yeah.
It's really not. We're just wondering and whining.
Yep. Seriously.
That which we say we trust God for.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I say it should go from that to preparing. So go ahead, Cortez. I'm sorry.
So real quick, we've got to take a quick break. But Alex, I want you to break out the cards, and then you need to get out. You need to take all the naughty cards out.
Yeah, take the naughty.
Take the naughty cards out. And let's do some rapid fire questions from the War on Love game on the other side of this break. I'm going to see if I can wrangle up a special guest as well to make it even more interesting. So y'all make sure y'all keep it locked right here.
Wait! I gotta go get my guy out the closet. He duct taped in the closet. Can I go get mine? I'm preparing. He just duct taped. Let me go get my guy. I'm a unduct tape him. We gonna have some fun.
On the other side of this break, we're gonna play the War on Love game. So keep it locked right here.
What if a product existed that allowed you to lose weight while you got the best sleep of your life? An all-natural supplement comprised of herbs, extracts, prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes that work naturally with your body to reduce stress, invoke a relaxed state of mind and body, while simultaneously accelerating digestion and metabolism, resulting in a great night's sleep as you burn calories. The result is you sleep better and you wake up lighter than you went to bed. A world leader in nutritional products, Be Epic, introduces Accelerate, a special 2-capsule combination you take just before bedtime. One prepares your mind and body for a deeper night's sleep, while the other gently works with your body's chemistry to accelerate digestion, flush toxins, increase metabolism, and result in a lighter, leaner you every morning. Discover for yourself the life-changing benefits of this amazing supplement. Order your pack of Accelerate capsules today, backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Manage your body and mind naturally with Accelerate. Visit the website shown below or contact the person who sent you this video.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the St. Louis Hustle Podcast, the special evening edition where we're talking all about relationships. Y'all know I got my girl with me, Michelle. Hey,
hi, girl. Hi,
and then down here we got Alex Merritt, and then over there we got Mr. and Mrs. Brown
Meet the
in
Browns.
the building. And I got my very, very, very special guest. Was that enough? My very, 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 very special guest.
There it is.
My sugar of 24 years, Miss Lee Love, is in the building with us as well. So we were talking about unusual beginnings, and we are going to get into the game here in a second, but just want to talk about our unusual beginning, and we got to be gentle here. But what the heck was that? Nevertheless,
put your hands up.
we
I
got
don't
it
know nobody.
unusual, and it's not unusual that I guess how we started, but it is somewhat
Ooh.
taboo in our community. And we got together. We went to high school together, and she will say in a minute that I wasn't right and I wasn't ready. So that was the case. But then years later, I had a death in the family. My brother got killed, and when I showed up at the wake, I forgot that she's best friends with my cousin. So I forgot that they had that relationship. So she was the last person I expected to see at the wake. And she actually, grabbed my hand and she rubbed my back and she said it would be okay. And I was like, I had always liked her, right? But here's the taboo part. I used to mess with a friend back in high school. Now, y'all know that according to hood rules,
Right.
we ain't supposed to get together at all. And I just
Right.
wonder how many people let things like that keep them from their soulmate. Because here we are, 5 kids later, 24 years in, building something amazing.
And I still like him, y'all.
Building something amazing. And that could have derailed it all, just as well as someone I'm sure told the Browns that, man, pump the brakes on that. 3 months, no, dog, no, man, chill out on that. Just hold up, wait. Y'all got time, and we didn't let that stop us, y'all. So here we are, Alex.
Still friends with a friend,
and we are still friends with the friend. Yes.
Aww.
Yes. We are still friends with the friend. And it was years later, 10 years later or something like that, 7 years later out of high school or something like that. So, but according to the rules of the hood and the community, if you ever, sometimes you kissed my best friend when y'all was in 4th grade, no, you can't date him or date her. And, stuff like that. So, we had to overcome that initially, because what happened was I was living out of town and I moved back in town. And while I was out of town, she and I had started corresponding. I'm thinking of Kevin Hart on the upside. We had an epistolary relationship, right?
Spell it. No.
right?
So we were writing each other back and forth, and we had decided, because when I left to move down south, I actually left St. Louis right after the OJ trial, and I was going to find me a wife. I was like, Demetrius, I'm ready, and I don't think I'm gonna find her here. So I went back to my hometown, and it's funny because when I moved back, here's how I knew this was my sign from God that I was supposed to move back to Mississippi. I said, if OJ is found not guilty, then I'm moving.
You know what? See,
so we was watching the trial, and Johnny Cochran got on there and said, if the glove don't fit, we must quit. So you gotta quit it. And I was like, all right, that's the sign. And I got in my beat up 85 Subaru with no muffler and drove it 6 hours to Mississippi looking for a wife. And she was here all this time. You could have just told me. I didn't have to go down there to do it. Lady, what's wrong with you?
The fact that you based it on the OJ trial, really? You got to get the look for that one.
Look, because in my heart's heart, I'm like, that Negro did it. So I ain't going nowhere.
You're like,
I love it.
That is wow.
Something that's powerful there that is I think is important that many people do miss is that we make up all these crazy rules like that. Like don't date, or you gotta have X amount of time. Those are actually just other people's rules for how they do. So all we're essentially
connecting
somebody else with, again, back to learning and trust what works for you.
Yeah.
Well, should you? No, anything that begins and ends with should is, again, just question it. Just question it, because again, that is a clear sign that what you're about to do is not what you want to be doing. Is what somebody told you they did, or that they decided is right. is not usually from you. It's a judgment based on somebody else's rules.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. It looks like the Browns are froze up on me.
I was gonna say, I think they might
move them off and let them jump back in here and see if we can bring them back. And I want to do this while they are there because those names look crazy when it's only 3 of us and it's 4 names. So hopefully they can come back on. Alex, you're shuffling up the cards there.
I'm the World Love Game.
All right. There they are. They are back. I think we are good to go. Oh man, y'all messed up too. Wait a minute. Hold on. Because I can't bring my names back because y'all over there and she's over.
Right, we got y'all flip flop.
Wait a minute.
The Brady Bunch. We like the Brady Bunch.
There we go. All right, we back. All right, so you guys down to play a little game?
Let's do it.
The Browns. All right, so tell us a little bit about the game, Alex, and how it all works. And
these cards.
We got a set of cards. I think she's rolled out 3 or more sets since the one.
There's been a couple more since that time, but it's all to help get after. We talk about like the number one issue in relationships is a lack of
communication.
Right? It's the number one answer. I believe, again, back to the engineer in me, I'm like, what's the root cause? I think it's a lack of quality questions. We talk all the time. We just don't talk about anything that allows us to go deeper and connect the ways that we haven't, right? Couples talk about the same thing every day. People go on date, like, what's your favorite color? Who cares?
Right.
The World Love Game is designed to spark provocative conversation that lets you get to know, lets you be connected, and lets you get undercover, like what you think and what you really need when it comes to relationships. So that's what the game came from.
All right. And I'm going to put a rule in her game, right? Only because we're live. So we got a safe word called pass. If it's a question you don't want to dive into in front of all the people who are going to watch it now and all the people that will have the ability to watch and listen in the future.
Forever. Forever.
Right. And I joke all the time about, one of the reasons I do lives all the time, I was like, it'd be cool if I could watch a video of my great grandfather and know what he was thinking. Right. So I do this for my kids, but this might not be one that I want to be answering for my kids to watch.
Right.
We want to, like, kids, make up your own rules for love.
Right.
Period. But I will, the way you play is that I will flip 2 cards at a time. And when you guys are playing it with 2 people or 20 people, doesn't matter. High card or high heart wins. It's the World Love. So you put your heart on the table, you always win.
Okay. All right.
Since I'm gonna have both of the cards, and since we got groups here, Michelle, you and I are on teams. We'll have these 2 on the other side.
Right. I was gonna answer for my imaginary man. I was gonna answer for him, but we got it.
We're gonna start with the Browns. Browns, you want top or bottom?
Bottom.
You bottom. So that's right top. So I'm gonna flip. Top card is a 3 of club. Miss Brown, you got a 3. Bottom is a 3 of heart. So the hearts always win.
All right.
So, Mr. Brown, you want the 3 of club or you want me to read the 3 of heart?
Let's do the 3 of clubs.
3 of club. Says, when it comes to love, I'm afraid of
getting hurt.
Getting hurt. Brown, when it comes to love, I'm afraid of. So whatever question you ask, you also have to be willing to answer it, and everybody gets to weigh in on it. Is the way it would normally work. Because we're doing a lightning round. Well, Miss Brown, what would your answer be to that?
Abandonment.
That's mine too. Grip and foster. I have a thing about that. All right, we're gonna go up to the top. All right. You want top or bottom?
I can't hear. You want top or bottom? Bottom, she says.
He wants bottom, so you got top. So top card is an 8 of spade. That's you.
All right.
Bottom card is 7 of clubs. 8 of spade wins.
8 of spade wins. So read me my card, then the 8 of spade. I ain't scared.
Perfect. 8 of spade says, what is the point of marriage?
What? Wait a minute. What kind of question is that, Alex? You on my show? You trying to set me up? What the hell is going on?
That's the beauty. You get the choice to pick. I didn't ask the question. The card asked the question. You picked that way.
So, what is the point of marriage? I think it is the whole point of two people coming together is to build something amazingly magical as one.
Oh,
I think that is the point.
Yeah.
you better go.
You good?
Like, high five. That's a good answer. That's a great answer.
Did you read that? Did y'all eat Chinese today? You read that off a fortune cookie. You bet that I had to read that off no fortune cookie.
To build
That
something.
was good.
All right, we're going to
Same question.
same question.
Yep.
What's the point of marriage? Anybody else got to talk? Yep.
What he said.
Come on, wife. Come on.
Right. Ditto.
What he said.
I like that. I like that answer. As a whole, we'll show you on top of bottom.
Top.
4 diamonds.
Oh, diamonds.
Diamond is 5 of hearts, so that means I win.
Hearts always win.
Hearts always win in this
I
game.
think diamonds wins. That's okay.
And I don't just want to toot my own horn here, but Eliani says, good answer, Cortez.
Oh, really?
Thank you for that, Eliani.
So I'm thinking, what should you never say to women?
What should you never say to women?
Answer, because I got to
I want
answer.
the fellas to answer this first, and then the women will share.
All right,
Wait, because
Demetrius,
I got to answer.
bring us home. Demetrius, bring us home.
Bring us home, Demetrius.
Never. Oh boy. I mean, 1, 2, 3. Oh my God. Let's see. Too many women against too many. So I think what you should never say to a woman is something that or compare her to another woman, including your mama. Don't compare your woman or wife to another woman, especially your mother.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I would say you never say to a woman a promise that you can't keep. I think that gets us in a lot of trouble because women want to be secure. And sometimes when you starting out, especially with us, we were broke. So I ain't had nothing but promises. So, so I couldn't tell her promises that I couldn't keep. And I think that kind of helped us. And I would just say, nah, baby, I don't believe I can do that. And sometimes she believed in me more than I believed in myself, but I try not to tell her promises I can't keep.
Nice.
I love it. Michelle,
What don't you ever say to a woman? What you eating now? Now what you eating? Demetrius.
Let it go.
Mr. Brown. What you eating now?
So for those of you who don't know the inside joke, Michelle had a hot dog and some chips and something she was eating backstage before we went live. And Mr. Demetrius was on her head about that. Listen, lady, you had a hot dog. Now you had some Twizzlers. Now you got a Twinkie. You got some chips.
Wait,
and then
excuse me, sir.
he said, "What you eating now?"
First of all, I don't need you adding to the menu. I ain't have all that. Secondly, I would need to see you at the track at 6 in the morning when I go out because apparently you're a coach. Okay, what you eating now? All jokes aside, what you shouldn't say to a woman, I think, is I'm gonna just say this is my pet peeve. Is what you need to do is
Strong, single,
to 100,
powerful
real
woman talking about what you need to do.
Man, I hate that.
On to the back of that one is calm down. I hate calm down.
Listen, if you want a surefire way to rile me up, tell me to calm down.
There it is. There it is.
Calming down. Never have I ever calmed down up on request ever.
That's a request. Oh, you can request. It's not happening.
but it's never going to happen. Don't ever say that to me.
Now, excuse me while I start busting windows. Clish, clish, clish. Calm down. What you mean?
That's the power of the world love game. Like I said at home, there's a whole bunch of questions about love, sex, relationships. But again, if you're playing this with your mate, with your boo, with somebody you're just getting to know, or even just friends, it's just a fascinating way to learn about relationships, love, and yourself. Because some of these questions most people have not thought about. But it's important when it comes to relationships. Like, you need to know what not to say to her before you say it.
Yes. Give me the cliff notes. Give me the answer to the test. I'm trying to do well here. Help me out.
Believe it or not, we just don't ask the question until it becomes a problem. Then we want to start learning, right? It's like failing the test and then studying is a bad way to pass any class.
Okay. Let's do one more real quick, and then I want to show them your video on your cards and where they can get them from as well.
All right, then we will flip. Since you're the host, we'll let you have top king.
Right. That's right.
Jack of spade, not Jack of spade. It's a Jack of club, Mr. Demetrius. I'm looking at him and trying to do this part. So you want a plat, sir. So you want the Jack or the king?
The king.
The king. And I think we all know the answer to this. But do you believe in love at first sight?
I
love at first sight? Of course you do. 3 months in.
Right.
I know what I want. I know what I want. I know what I have a passion for. I know what turns me on, what sparks my interest. And, you know, especially when everything, you know, you have a lot of desires in a lot of different places and a lot of different things. But when you see it all in one person, it's like, yeah, I love you. Nobody else.
Aww.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Good answer. Good answer.
Good answer.
Good answer. Good answer.
Right.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's my whole heart is that again we can learn how to love because I think marital counseling is great. It's just not enough, and pre-divorce counseling is usually the next time people decide to go do it. And so in between here, this game, the courses that I offer again because we had to learn how to love in the 21st century. Back in the day, they just they're like, all right, this works, and we're gonna just let babies. Today, we got dreams and goals and ambitions, and you got to have some skills to do love in the 21st century. So death do you.
I agree because early marriage was permanent for a lot of the wrong reasons, right? It was just like, hey, we don't get divorced around here. Okay, so you gonna do you, I'm gonna do me, but we ain't getting divorced. And when you do you and you do me, we still gonna come back to the same house. We're gonna raise these kids. We're gonna sit around at the dinner table like ain't nothing happened.
Yeah,
right.
That's how you get emotionally ruined children and start that whole cycle. But yeah, I love that learning how to love in the 21st century, learning how to be in a relationship is powerful. Guys, we are at the top of the hour already. And since it's 4 of us, I think we ought to start with the last word round table a little bit. So we'll start with the Browns. Last words, man. Somebody think they have found the one based on what they have written in their heart that they want in the mate. Their friends and everybody is telling them, no, it's too soon. Y'all can get married in 6 months. Why don't y'all just get engaged for a year and then get married? What do you say to those folks when they know in their knower that they're ready?
I feel like that person needs to be confident in the direction that they have for their own life. But I also think it's important to have community around you. If you have a supportive system, it's okay to listen to others' opinions. It doesn't mean that they're hating on you, but they may have some valuable information that they can share that you can take in and you can meditate on to see if that's accurate or if that's something that you can utilize to make that important step in your life. But ultimately, it's going to be your decision, you and your mate's decision. And that's something that you have to be confident about.
Awesome. Demetrius, last words. You want to piggyback on that or go in a completely different direction? Last words, man.
I do want to piggyback on it a little bit. I feel like, and I'm going to have to go to a scripture where it says, when you find your wife, a man shall leave father and mother and cleave to his wife. And they two become one flesh. So when it all boils down to it, when you find your wife, it's you and her, because family may leave, friends may leave, but guess what? I'm still chained to this person, and she says she's changed to this joker, and hey, that's what it is right now. So I think that's what it has to be. It has to be a decision that you and your wife make, or your spouse, your fiance, husband make, that this is what we're going to do. And you ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do it. We're a team. Because right now, it's not you anymore by yourself. It's not me by myself. It's us. So we're going to do this thing together, or we're not going to do it at all.
Awesome. Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Miss Love Engineer, what say ye? Last words.
Last words is, I think we're all born in love and built for relationships. So it's different than what many of us have been taught in formal religious spaces. But I think we're all of love, which is why we cleave to it so much, why we crave it so much. Because I think if we could have got away from relationships, we would have been like, and forget it a long time ago. But we can't, because that's who we're built for. And so taking the time, as I said before, of learning how to love and realizing, again, nothing makes you unworthy of it. But you have to develop some skills to be able to have the relationship. Love is free. Relationships is where you have to put an investment.
Nice. Love it. Love it. Love it. Michelle, hey, wait a minute. Let's get Sugar first. Then the host will go last. We'll close the show. You look at me like that. We all live. They all watching you. Look at me all crazy.
Cause Lee got my back. That's why. High five, girl. You go ahead, Lee. Stand down, girl. It's okay. She looked at you like.
I already told you who packs the pistol in this house, Michelle.
Okay,
ain't it obvious?
Exactly.
Now I got to make sure I apologize and kiss some feet and everything around. I might get my head blowed off tonight.
She's gonna be like, "You want some of this?"
Right now, no. I'm going to cut him off. But I guess my last words would be like, Cortez said, when you know and you're knower, like I said, it was kind of odd how we got together. And we did have to have a conversation with my friend. She's still my friend. We're all friends. And we did have to have that conversation. It was a little uncomfortable, of course, but I knew what I was looking for. I had already been married before, so I know what I did not want. So I knew what I was looking for, and I knew that, and I'm a very reserved person. So when I made the decision to go ahead and be with Cortez,
pursue me, y'all. She pursued me.
I did because I knew what I wanted, and like I said, it was an uncomfortable conversation I had to have with my friend. But we are still friends. I love her, and of course, I still love him. I'm glad that I did pursue him. I had to work on him a little bit, but God is good. God is good. So if you know you're knower, and the Lord say the same, go for it.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you, babe. Michelle.
Man, so I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna come just from the relationship angle. Love is wonderful. I love love. Don't be afraid to love, but once you're loving, really, I think everybody's kind of said it collectively. Don't be afraid to pour into the relationship, invest in the relationship, study the relationship, and research the relationship. Sometimes people will go in. Now, that's not the case with you guys, but sometimes people will go in and they think it's one relationship, but it's really a different kind of relationship. So if you're a person like me and you are in your preparation phase, take the time to understand relationship, first with the Father, then with yourself, and then with those around you, so that when the opportunity does knock, you will be able to properly appropriate, is this my Cortez or my Demetrius? You'll be able to, you know what I'm saying? You'll be able to know in your knower if the person is in the right category. You don't want to marry the wrong relationship.
That's right.
Awesome. And I would say for me, it is, I don't think enough people think about the forever, right? And from the beginning, I was thinking about the forever, right? And what will we be able to build together? And a lot of people don't think about the for the better or worse, right? My wife likes to drink wine. And I thought about that in the beginning. Okay.
Aw.
She could turn to a full-on lunch. And for worse, that means I'm on the hook for this. So am I prepared for that, right? I was a pothead. Could have very easily been a crackhead. She was on the hook for that. And you have to really look at the for better, for worse. And we didn't touch on this, and maybe we'll have Alex come back and you guys come back. You also are marrying the families. So I had to look at her brothers and sisters. And she had to look at my brothers and sisters, my mom, and how that whole thing, and we were bringing all of this stuff together. And she had 2 kids, and I said, I would never, ever, ever marry a woman with kids, because I don't want no smoke with nobody. And all I could think about was baby daddy drama. And I was like, man, I don't want nobody rolling up on me talking, man, you whoop my kids.
God.
So I was not trying to be with no woman with no kids, but the Lord said otherwise. And here we are 24 years later. But really, it is the commitment to the commitment is what's needed, guys.
That part.
Yeah, man. The commitment to the commitment. And she has made me better, and I love her for it. So I'm going to play Alex's video. So we're going to sign out now. And then when the video plays off, we will be offline. So I appreciate all of y'all, man, for coming to hang out with your boy, talking about relationships. Michelle A., Mr. and Mrs. Brown, Alex, Merritt. Love y'all for this, man. Until next time, get your money up, because you absolutely can do it.
Hustle
but more
hard.
importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up.
Just blame it on the game. We always say it's a lack of communication that's causing problems in relationships. I'll tell you what, it's actually a lack of quality questions. And the War on Love game has 52 provocative questions about love, sex, and relationships that'll have you connecting, being closer, and having the conversations that you crave in your relationship. And when it gets naughty, well, just blame it on the game.